welcome back. Week 3, Amber Callahan, Chris Bergen here, talking to you about what's going on in the market and what's going on out there, as far as real estate goes. We're here to answer questions, so please feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. We have some really great information to share with you today, so let's just dive right in. Chris, you've got some stats to go over.
Yep, we just finished looking at first quarter stats for several of the communities that we track. So that's going out in the old-fashioned snail mail this week to our database. So if anybody wants a copy, message us and we can actually email it to you. So just shoot us a message so you can get the same information. So we looked at a couple cities, and it's only the first quarter, obviously. So we've got 3 good quarters to go. But looking at some of the numbers. Things aren't doom and gloom. So looking at the first quarter of 2020, January, February, March here, Cam's Corner area, for example, the median sales price for all of 2019 was $125,000. And right now, after quarter 1, we're tracking 120 in Cam. So down a little bit, just the first quarter. If we go look at Rocky River, last year, 285 was the median sales price. And for the first quarter, River's tracking at 320. So they're up. So we've got all those nice stats for you that anybody wants a copy. But what we promised you we'd do is take a look at March and April last year compared to where we're at in March and April this year.
Right.
So we could have looked at everything in Northeast Ohio, but what we chose to do was we just picked Cuyahoga County, and then we'll give you some specifics on Lakewood as kind of our bellwether city and how they're doing. So for all of Cuyahoga County, we looked at the number of sales, the number of active listings, what the average marketing time looks like, the percentage of the closed price to the list price, and then what the average sales price was.
So we're comparing same time frame, 2019 to 2020. Let's see what the changes are.
Yeah, just March and April, since that's when all this fun staying at home process started for all of us. So looking at 2019, total number of sales in Cuyahoga County, single family homes for March and April were just under 2,200, so 2,191 sales. Through March and where we're at today with April, we're at 1,729 sales. So we're behind, but we still have some time in April here. And as Amber will tell you, we have several sales ourselves that are closing this week and next week. So
a lot of the sales close at the end of the month. So really we'll know a little bit more at the end.
We will. So I decided to take a look at what was pending. In Cuyahoga County, there are 1,332 properties that are pending right now in April. Let's say if just half of those close in April, we'll beat last March and April. We'll be at about 2,300 sales versus 2,200. So again, not horrible.
No.
Number of listings. You're going to have to guess for me. So last March and April, we had Cuyahoga County about 33,800 listings on the market, active. Where do you think we're at March and April this year? Up or down?
Well, I know we're down. I would say, I think we're down quite a bit, but let's say 3,100.
They were 3,800 last year. We're at 2,800 this April.
Wow.
1,000. So that's the biggest issue right now.
It is.
That's the biggest issue. So time on the market, 82 days this time last year, 74 days this time this year. So marketing time's less.
Yeah.
The close price to list price ratio. Do you think sellers were getting more or less than last year right now?
Right now, I think they're still getting more.
They are. We were averaging, not a lot more, but more. So last March, April, the average home was getting 96.1% of what they're asking. And right now we're trending at 96.7. So a little bit more. So still strong, still healthy. Average sales price. What do you think? Are we up this year compared to last year or down?
I think we're up probably very slightly.
More than slightly. We were at 178. The average sale last year in Cuyahoga County for March and April was 178,300. We're at 196.5 right now. 196.5 is the average.
That's a nice increase.
It's pretty good. It's still staying strong. Our biggest challenge.
So do you think that a lot of this has to do with the supply and demand issue?
It is. That's our biggest challenge. We're 1,000 listings less than this time last year, which shows us sellers are on the fence and they're waiting. They're waiting. If they're living in their home and they're not comfortable, they're waiting. So that's the biggest change. So break it down to our little microcosm here in Lakewood.
Yeah.
Sales, if half of what's pending in Lakewood closes in April, we'll be looking at about 110, let's see, maximum 110 sales for March and April compared to 80 last year. On the flip side, if half of them close, we'll be about 85 sales compared to 80 last year, so slightly up.
Yeah.
Number of listings, almost even. 76 listings active last April, 73 now.
And see, that's what we were predicting last year, that 2020 was just going to be the same as 2019. Maybe a slight increase, but essentially the same market. And are you seeing any big changes from all this data so far, besides that listings are going down a little bit, the number of listings?
Just last listings, we're still finding ourselves in multiple offers. There's still a big pent-up demand. The buyers want to buy.
Yeah, and it's not going anywhere. No. I mean, everybody that I talk to, all the colleagues that we talk to, we're all dealing with buyers that are trying to get a house. I was just at a showing last night, and we can only squeeze in for a little 30 minutes,
right? Because
it's back to back to back to back showings. Now, that's not every house, but very well priced, competitively priced homes in the desirable areas are definitely going fast.
They are.
They're selling.
Just wrapping up on Lakewood real quick. The closed price to list price ratio, 98.9% last spring, 99.3% now. So again, sellers are getting what they're asking.
Yep.
And the average sales price has gone from $221,600 to $229,300. So again, a little bit of an uptick there as well, which we expected. So we'll see how the rest of April finishes out.
Yeah, we have a few closing, like you said. So
we'll do our part to help the bottom line, right?
Yes.
All right. So, there's our stats. It's not doom and gloom. It's just we need more inventory.
Right.
The confidence level of the buyer is there. We need
definitely
the confidence level of the seller.
That's where I think we're finding some issues. Is they're concerned that, obviously people coming into their house and being safe. That's one issue, and we're willing to discuss everything about that and ways that we can still list your house on the market and be safe.
Right.
But if you want to sell or you need to sell right now, don't be afraid.
No.
I mean, there's people that will sell if you're priced right. Yeah, you're going to sell. And it's probably going to still be a little bit more than last year. Maybe not a whole lot, but you're going to sell.
With the marketing time as low as it is, you're going to have a flurry early on. You're hopefully going to have the multiple offer situation, and then you're going to be off the market, and then your home is back and locked up and secured. And
if you're not sold in that first 2 weeks, maybe it's the price. I mean, that's what usually is the case.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Right.
So
stats, March and April. We'll take a look next week and going into May how April really finishes out. But so far,
see if we're right.
So far, so good.
See if you're right, Chris, with those stats.
So far, so good. All right. Would you? We also looked at some other numbers.
Yes.
Because everybody's afraid with the big U word, unemployment. So
the big white elephant in the room is unemployment. That's for sure.
Unemployment. So a couple things to share. We listened to a really good webinar piece the other day on unemployment and its relationship or lack thereof to the real estate market, which is very interesting.
Yes.
So May is going to be really scary. When the unemployment numbers come out in May, it's going to be really scary. But as governors start to open up their states again, June will be really interesting as well. So we need to just get through April and see what May looks like. But right now, the unemployment numbers, 60% of those that are filed for unemployment are in the service industry. So restaurant workers, bars, those kinds of things. Not a shock. Question becomes how many of those go back to work when they're allowed to go back to work? How many restaurants don't open again? How many do open again? So that's a big chunk, 60%. 4% are in the construction arena. They're going to go back to work. Healthcare, 6% in the healthcare industry, which was kind of surprising, but we're talking about the dental offices and the eye doctors and the
non-essential,
Virtuals, So those folks have to go back to work.
They will go back to work.
Childcare, almost 3% of childcare, and you're dealing with that yourself.
I know that personally. Childcare, need those people back.
When people go back to work, they're going to want their kids back in childcare. Temporary services took up 7%. Retail, 6.5% are in the retail arena. So again, are stores opening back up? Are people going back to the malls? 4% in accommodations, hotels. Again, how do those open back up? So, what the main numbers are going to look pretty scary. But you have to keep in mind
unemployment.
That, unemployment. Yeah. So we'll see what the May numbers look like that tell us how bad April really was with unemployment claims. But if we're opening some states back up, a little bit by little, what are the true numbers going to be? The video we listened to took a worst case scenario approach. So they were using the Goldman Sachs opinion that 15% unemployment by the end of the year. So worst case scenario. So if we go back and look at 1989 through 2019 and look at the years of high unemployment numbers, what was the real estate market doing during those times? The only glitch on the radar was the Great Recession of 2008 when real estate was tied to the whole collapse, and now we're not. So back in 89, unemployment was 7.5%, but the housing market was going up. In 2000, it was 6%. Housing was going up. 2008, unemployment.
Interest rates were a lot higher than they are now.
Yes. 2015s, we were averaging around 4%. And we're kind of flat with the real estate market. Now, it wasn't bad. We're selling homes, but there wasn't a huge bump in growth and bubble, basically because of the low inventory. So we're back to the inventory. Inventory is our biggest challenge.
Yes.
So the rule of thumb is anytime unemployment stays at over 8%, then housing is going to be affected. So it's going to be a tough year. We're going to get things sold. We're still going to sell. We're still selling for top dollar. The key is going to be what's May look like from an unemployment perspective. Basically picture.
And that's the thing. I mean, everybody can guess. All the economists, everybody can, all the real estate gurus can talk about the future and what they think. The truth is nobody really knows.
Nope.
All we can tell you is what's going on right now and what history has told us. And outside of the Great Recession, unemployment and recessions in general really don't hit the real estate industry.
No.
I mean, that's just what the data says.
We're really predicting that real estate's going to lead this recovery.
Yes.
Basically, if you go to Cedar Point when they were open, you're going up the roller coaster up the hill, and that was our local real estate. We were going up the hill still. And we were climbing, and we started to love out a little bit, but we were climbing that hill. And then we got to the top of the hill in March and April, and we're screaming downhill.
Yep.
But what are we going to do when we get to the bottom of the hill?
We're going to go up.
With leading the way. So we'll keep an eye on the numbers. We'll keep an eye on what we're seeing out there. But, just prepare everybody. May is going to look kind of scary for an unemployment. We'll see what the real estate numbers look like going into May, coming out of April.
So one thing I want to tell my buyers out there, people that are interested in buying, as soon as everything starts opening up, what we're seeing is that buyers are going to come out even more.
Right.
So if you're really looking to buy, please consider not pausing.
If that was your plan to buy, there are ways to do it.
There are ways to do it now, and the competition is just going to get more challenging as we go. Because
until inventory really needs to almost double for it to balance out, and it's not going to double anytime soon.
It's not going to.
If your plan was to buy a house in Cleveland, Ohio in the spring of 2020, if you're employed,
yes,
you can still do it.
Yes.
The right house is out there for you.
Yes. And
so
financing
how about our homeowners?
Yeah.
How about our homeowners?
Now the
that are staying at
homeowners.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the sellers, the homeowners, it just depends on your situation.
Right.
If you have time to wait, time to ride it out, and you want to gamble, you can wait for that to go back up. And, try to put your house on the market at that point. We don't know exactly when that's going to be, but we can tell you right now it will sell if it's priced right.
Right.
So it just depends on your situation.
So everybody's at home right now because they're working from home. What are some things the homeowners can be doing to improve their house, whether they're going to think about selling now or down the road?
Well, if you get our snail mail paper newsletter, or sometimes our e-newsletter, you will get this that talks about some things that you could be doing right now, such as, rainy day projects, spring cleaning, organizing closets. Because remember, when you're selling, people open those closets, they open those pantry doors, they go through everything. Painting. painting's a good idea. Buyers are still looking for neutral. When I mean neutral, I mean white, gray, maybe light beige, very neutral.
I talked to one of my clients today, Amber. I talked to one of my clients today in Bay, and I asked how they were doing. And he said, I've painted every room in the house. I have cleaned every room. I have organized the garage and the closet. So it's a good time to do that when you have the time.
So, yeah, I mean, painting's great. Fix something. So if you have that little project that you've been waiting on, maybe now's the time to do it. Maybe it's some electrical updates. A lot of these guys are essential, so they're still working. I'm having some yard work done and a deck put in. Also, anything that you need updating, like a furnace, air conditioner, stuff like that. Now's maybe a good time if you can. Make some plans for updating. If you're questioning on doing a renovation in your house, give us a call, send us an email, a text, something saying, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. You know, what's the resale? Do you think this is the right place to put my money? We're here as advisors too. So we'll be happy to discuss that.
I had a virtual walkthrough of a home the other day, and it was, here's what we're thinking of doing. And they were able to send me some of the renderings of what the contractor had done for them already. And then it was, you know, what do you think? Do we need a window? Do we need a pantry? What should we do? And we were able to walk through that because they're in this time to make the plans. And then based on, you know, where the market's at and how long they're going to stay, they can make an educated decision about how big to go or how much to pull that project back in a little bit.
Right. Right. You know, and it's something to consider. I mean, if you're going to put big money into a house, you should really consider everything. If you plan on staying there forever, if you might be moving in the next 5 years, if you're not sure, just ask. We'll give you our educated opinion. Some other things to do for resale. So some realtor tips here. Update little things like finishes. So if you're thinking about going in the market, maybe you're waiting a little bit for later in the year, next year, whatever, you can do some finishes updates, light fixtures, you know, maybe faucets, little things like that go a long way with buyers. You know, paint neutrally, we talked about, and fixing obvious problems. Anything on the curb appeal. People like to roll up to the house. I mean, you want to put some money in a little bit outside, just tidying it up, you know, a little mulch around. It makes a huge difference. I mean, it's a difference of selling quickly or not.
Perfect. Good advice.
Yeah. And if you're like me and you're busy, you might not be able to do everything. So don't feel bad about that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
all right. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah. If there's anything you want us to cover, message one of us and we will cover it.
Yeah. Great. Right. Have a great week.
See you next week.
Bye.